Hello, BookTube. It's a blast from the past. We're back in the little book room. Not because it's winter, when I assume we will relocate here, but really because it seems to me like a storm system is coming into Boston. Something or other is pushing just tropical, just absolutely tropical heat and humidity. So it's not really possible for Frida and I to get comfortable out in the other room. This room is air conditioned. But the other room, I was working. I wasn't really paying attention to how much the humidity was going up until at one point I was typing on my laptop and suddenly I had to reach for something. I reached up my hands and the laptop came with them. It stuck to my hands. So we moved in here for a little relief, but I didn't want to let today go by without mail. Luckily, it looks like most of the day's mail came before what could be torrential downpours. I'm assuming that when the sun goes down or thereabouts, when the sun starts to set, we're going to get whatever rain we're going to get today. And that's a good thing. I'm glad these things weren't out on the porch when that happened. So it's 4 packages, no boxes, lots of other book stuff to talk about, but I'm not quite set up in this room. I wasn't anticipating returning here. Baby, you want to see your fans? Oh, there are your fans. Yes. Oh. Yes, look at you. Look at how pretty you are. You're so pretty. You are. You're a pretty little girl. There they are. They're your fans, huh? We have a lot of other bookish stuff to do. I filmed a couple of videos this morning, a few hours ago, when the day was normal. Sunny, blue skies, bright white clouds. Now, very much looks like a storm is on the way, and I think that might... I'm not set up in this room to make videos, so I might postpone everything else until tomorrow. What have we got there, baby? Oh, what have we got there? Oh. All right, what is this? Okay, Frida, before you destroy that, sorry. I want to know if there's a sheet in here. No, there isn't. Okay. This is a lovely thing. This is by Ginger Gaffney. It's a memoir. It's called Half Broke. Has a horse on the cover. An alternative prison ranch in New Mexico conducts a daring experiment, setting the troubled residents out to retrain an aggressive herd of horses. The horses and prisoners both arrive at the ranch broken in one way or many ways. The horse is often abandoned and suspicious, the residents sometimes battling drug and alcohol addiction, emotionally and physically and financially shattered. Ginger Gaffney's job is to retrain the untrainable. With time, the horses and residents form a profound bond and teach each other patience, control, and trust. Okay, that sounds really good. This comes out in February, so I don't have to worry about it quite yet. But great. Glad to have it. A memoir for the new year. All right. This, huh? Oh. You remember it? We haven't done this in months, but she apparently remembers that the mail in this room can be destroyed wantonly. Oh, okay, great. Okay, this is another 2020 book. This is a double, but I don't mind at all. This is from Elizabeth Cook, who some of you will remember as the author of a little book a long time ago called Achilles. Very interesting little book. And this is her forthcoming book, Lux, L-U-X. Which is a combined narrative, a daring, intertwined narrative of 2 men who want to change their wives. It's the narrative of King David, and the story that is told in the Old Testament of how he maneuvered to have a man killed so that he could have the man's wife, and the story of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, where there isn't an explicit parallel. King Henry he knew the story of King David, of course, and sometimes thought about, that being the pattern that he would like. If King David could change his wife, then why can't I? The furthest that the parallel draws is if you think Anne Boleyn, of course, was in love with a young man, Harry Percy, who was heir to the House of Percy, to the vast estates in Northumberland, and they were broken apart. They were split apart because Henry started to bestow favor on Anne Boleyn. The second, or if you believe the gossip, the third woman in the Boleyn family that he bestowed his favors on. But Henry never had young Henry Percy killed, so it doesn't. Henry Percy went on to marry, so it doesn't in exact parallel. But that's what this is: a much longer book than her last one, and an intertwining of two historical novel narratives. So I'm naturally all for that. This doesn't come out until February, so I won't be reading it, anytime soon. But I'm glad to have it. That's great. All right, so let's move on here. We've got 2 cardboard packages, and then we'll be done. With this, a blast from the past mail haul. A visit to this little room where Frida is destroying mail. Oh, great. Okay. This is the finished copy from Pegasus book of something that we've seen before. This is, of course, a September book, so I'm going to get bashed for it. This is the finished copy of Lloyd Spencer Davis's A Polar Affair, with the subtitle being Antarctica's Forgotten Hero and the Secret Love Lives of Penguins. Hubba hubba. I'm thrilled to be sending you a captivating blend of true adventure and natural history by Lloyd Spencer Davis, one of today's leading penguin experts and Antarctic explorers, known throughout his native New Zealand as Professor Penguin. Gregory Murray Levick was the physician on Robert Falcon Scott's tragic Antarctic expedition of 1910. Marooned for an Antarctic winter, Levick passed the time by becoming the first man to study penguins up close. His findings were so shocking to Victorian morals that they were quickly suppressed and seemingly lost to history. I'd be willing to bet there's a more complex story than that. We've already learned, we've gone over this many times on this channel, that the stereotypical thumbnail reflexive reference to the Victorian morals is often woefully, woefully underinformed. And I'd be willing to bet there's more going on here than this. Maybe he was bad to work with or had a bad publisher. A century later, Lloyd Spencer Davis rediscovers Levick and his findings during the course of his own scientific adventures in Antarctica. Levick's long-suppressed manuscript reveals not only an incredible survival story, but one that will challenge and change our understanding of an entire species. We shall see. I have the advanced copy of this, but I haven't read it. Now I want to, because I want to know why this thing was suppressed. I mean, I want to read it for all the right reasons, too, not just purely gossip. But I want to know why the original manuscript was suppressed. I don't think it had anything to do with the louche and low behavior of penguins in the Antarctic. It probably had to do with other things, but we will see. I will read it and report back. And then we have this is the last package for today's mail. I didn't want to skip a day of mail, even if it's dark outside. It's dark outside, and it's coming on to rain and maybe loud thunder. I'm glad I don't have a dog that worries about that. I've been through so many dogs where the dog's either worried about thunder or it frightened the daylights out of them or whatever. And Frida doesn't care. It doesn't bother her one way or another. And I was partially lucky last time because my Basset Hound Lucy didn't care either. She didn't notice anything about the outside world at all, or even the inside world. So I had to inform her when she was under attack or was just about ready to fall off the bed or whatever. But my pointer, Malin, was very much frightened by thunder. Once she became aware of what it was, low rumbles on the horizon, low rumbles in the sky, no. But those rare instances where the storm is directly over you and the thunder is a loud crack, and sometimes very loud, that terrified me. And that doesn't happen to Frida. She's not worried about thunder. Oh my. Okay. All right. This is by Justin Butcher, and this is called Walking to Jerusalem: Endurance and Hope on a Pilgrimage from London to the Holy Land. I can't remember if we saw the advanced copy of this or not. This is also an early September book. On the centenary of the Balfour Declaration, the 50th anniversary of the Six-Day War, and the 10th anniversary of the blockade of Gaza. Good Lord. Okay. Half of a reviewer's job has just been done in this one line. Justin Butcher, along with 10 other companions and another 100 joining him at points along the way, walked from London to Jerusalem in an act of solidarity, penance, and hope. And also the force. To walk from London to Jerusalem requires not just, solidarity, penance, and hope, but also a full-blown miracle of a rather well-documented kind. I wonder if that was on film. I wonder if there's a picture in here. Weaving in history of the Holy Land as he moves across Europe, from Balfour and Christian Zionism to colonialism and Jerusalem syndrome, From desert spirituality to the lives of his fellow travelers, Walking to Jerusalem is a thought-provoking chronicle of serendipity, the hilarious, the infuriating, and occasionally an encounter with the divine. Okay, well, I'm assuming so, because you can't walk from London to Jerusalem without an encounter with the divine. But after that, I'll be really interested to know what routes he takes. I guess I could... I wonder if this thing has a map right at the beginning to spoil it for us. I hope not. In a way, I hope not. Oh, there is a map. Oh, no. There is a map. There it is, right at the beginning of the book. So he walks from London to Dover, and then God gets him over to Calais. And then he walks through France, through northern France, all the way down. Good Lord. Oh, my. Wow. Look at that. All the way down and then all the way across. Incredible. What a trek. June to November in 2017. Wow. Okay, well, I think I have the advanced copy of this book, and I haven't got to it either. But all of these September books are on my radar now because I'm not prepared. September is a monster of a month. So we have Walking to Jerusalem, finished copy. We have A Polar Affair, also finished copy. Two Pegasus Books history volumes that I'll happily gobble up. Then Looks by Elizabeth Cook. No idea. I can't really gauge what kind of a critical response this thing is going to elicit among my fellow book reviewers. A lot of them will probably remember Achilles, but I don't know what they'll make of this. But the usual suspects, historical fiction reviewers of all kinds, will do it justice, make sure it gets to an audience, and I will report back on it once I've gobbled it up in the new year. And then Half Broke by Ginger Gaffney, about a particular kind of rehabilitation of both horses and the young people who are the people who are tasked with breaking them, with reviving their friendly instincts. I don't know how such a program wouldn't end in disaster all around, but apparently it didn't. You wouldn't write a book like this if it did. So that's encouraging. That's our mail haul for today. I wish that I could make more videos. I don't quite feel comfortable doing it. With it so dark outside, and I've got the camera on top of a pile of stuff that's not really... I wasn't planning on coming back to this room for another month or two. So I'm back now. If I can smooth this out, I'll make one more video, because it's Wednesday, and that's a comic book day video, and I haven't done one of those, so I'd like to. But if not, then we will do comics tomorrow. But I will at least upload the videos that I have now, so that you're not without my face today. And I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.